primary purpose of making this video is really to show you how to activate Windows 7 and Microsoft Office 2013. So we're really not going to go item for item down the checklist, since you already know that. If you're doing this checklist, you are at an intermediate level and you already know and have done other checklists, and this is really no different. There are going to be other areas on this video of interest, of concern, that we want to make sure that you understand. So enjoy. When you start the computer, continually hit F10 on the NC6320HP in order to get to the BIOS. Across the top, you'll see File, Security, Diagnostics, and System Configurations. That's where you want to go. While you're here, and by the way, I'm using the arrow keys in order to get across the screen. You cannot use your mouse while you're in the BIOS. While we're in the system configuration, I'm going to use the down arrow key and go to Boot Options. I'm going to hit Enter. Use my down arrow to get to the floppy boot. I'm using my left arrow to disable it. I'm going to continue down and look at the optical drive, which is the CD player. That's first, and that's what we normally set our computers at. And I'm going to continue down to notebook hard drive. It shows as being the 5th thing to boot. We're going to change that by using the left arrow to second. We're going to hit F10 to accept. And we're going to continue down to device configurations. I'm using my down arrow. Enter. And in here, we are going to go to the SATA native mode. In here, it's showing it's disabled. That's what you want it to be. I'm going to hit F10 and keep it at that. Down again, built-in device options. I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to go down to Wake on LAN, and I'm going to use my left arrow to disable it. Again, F10, and we're actually done here. So I'm going to hit F10 again, Enter, because it says Save Changes and Exit, and F10 to save it. The computer will continue to start. As you can see, Windows is starting. The software has not been activated, so we're going to be doing that during this process. And it says activate now or ask me later. We're going to ask me later that this copy of Windows is not genuine. You hit OK. We already know that because we haven't activated it yet. I want to show you one thing in particular. On the desktop, there's going to be this file right here. This file says TecX Excellence Maintenance. We're going to open that up because this is really the next thing that you're going to be needing to do. In here, there's a series of folders. The very top one says Office 2013 Key. What you're going to do is you're going to left click that. I'm going to open this up so you can see a little bit better. Under the heading Office Key 2013 is a 25-digit number, which is what you got. It's a different number, but that's the activation code for Office. So what we're going to do is we're going to key this number in this up here and save it. Now if you notice, we put the 25-digit code in, product key in. This is the new one for the machine. If you notice, what we haven't done yet is we have not plugged this into the internet. Now we're going to go to, it says, on this list, it's the very bottom one. It says Windows 7 or Win7 COA.txt. We're going to open that up. We're going to change this one to what's on this little ticket. Actually, very close to what's up here. We're just going to change the ones that does not match. So 637. We're going to key in here, and then the last part. And we're going to save that. Now, on the very bottom of the computer, I'm going to show you something. Right here, you'll find the old COA. This is the old number right here. What we're going to do is we're going to add that to the file, to the text file that you just saw. So we're going to go down 2 spaces. We're going to type in old COA. We're going to go down 2 spaces and key that in. Now that it's done, you'll see it has the original information, Windows 7 COA, and that's what we changed it to, the new number. The old COA we got off the back of the computer. We're going to come down a little bit, a couple times, and type the word product key, and then we're going to save it. You'll see why in a few moments. When you look right here, and I don't expect you to really see this, but the last 4 numbers on this COA is 7314. Well, that's what we're going to name the computer. Let's do that now. I'm going to back out of here. I'm going to right-click Computer. I'm going to go into Properties. I'm going to go down here where it says Change Settings. Okay, we're going to put that number in 2 areas. If you note, it says Computer Description, it says TecX, and in this case it says 4801, which is already there. We're going to put this number, the last 4 digits of this ticket, in that area. So we mentioned before that it is 7314. So that's what we're going to put. 7314. We're going to go down here to the word change. And in here, here's the computer name again, and we're going to change it in here as well. We're going to go to 7314. We're going to change it to 7314. Now it says, you must restart your computer to apply these changes. Here you can click OK. Okay, now that we're done, we can restart the computer. And after this stage, because your computer now has a unique name and it won't lock up anything that's on our network, you now can plug in your Ethernet cord. If you have watched any other videos that we've done, you'll know how to get to the server to get your checklist, but we're going to cover it one more time. We're now going to be plugging in the Ethernet to the laptop and then going to the network in order to download the checklist that we need to continue with this process. Here it says activate now, and we're going to say ask me later. And on this window, we just select OK. We haven't activated Windows yet. That's coming up soon. Okay, from the Start button, you select Network, then ZimServe, Installed, Checklist, And within that area, you'll see TecX Excellence or TecX, and then you'll grab the checklist and bring it to your desktop. And we'll be changing the name of that checklist in just a moment. Okay, so I'm sitting here with the file, the checklist file that I got off the ZimSurf server from the TecX Excellence folder. Before I do anything, I'm going to right click it and I'm going to change the name to the computer name, which is in this case TEK. This came up and it says you may be a victim of software counterfeiting. That's because we haven't activated the software yet, and that's okay. So we're going to go back to rename it, and it's TEKX, TEK capital X. And remember, we used 7314. So that's the name of the checklist. I'm not going to go through the individual areas because the checklist itself may change. If you notice this update, Avast is asking for an update. I would click that now because that's going to take some time for it to do. And here it says update. We're going to continue. And I'm just going to lower this out of the way, let it do its thing. But what you want to do before you activate anything is you want to make sure that the rest of the computer is working fine before you continue. What you may not be aware of, but the Office activation and the Windows 7 activation cost money. So you want to make sure everything is working on the computer before you spend that money. This is one of the reasons why the checklist is so powerful. It reminds us to check the peripheral items on the laptop to make sure that they're working before we activate. For instance, like the CD drive or DVD drive. Checking the peripherals, I placed a CD in the player. I closed it, and you're going to notice if it comes up, it'll start, and it kind of will give you an idea that the CD player is playing. In this case, this one is, and you can hear it. Okay. Now, if your player has a DVD player, it'd be a good idea to make sure that that works. I put a DVD in and closed it. And it looks like it is starting. Great news. We can continue on now. So this is where you actually begin the checklist from top to bottom. If you notice, right up here is the save key. It's a save button. It's going to come up and say, hey, there's one that's named just like it. You want to save it over? Yeah. Basically, that's what it says. Okay. We are going to navigate to this site. And this is a link, so all you need to do is left click that. It's going to ask you to allow it, or if you want to allow it. Now if you notice on the bottom of the computer there's these tabs, you can easily get to other areas whenever you need to. We're going to refer back to the checklist because if you notice, the registration asks for an email and a password. So on our checklist, this is the email. I'm going to hit Control and C for copy. I'm going to go back to the registration, left click, Control and V for paste. I'm going to go back to the checklist and hold down my left mouse button to highlight and release it at the beginning of the password. Control and C to copy it. I'm going to go back to the registration and I'm going to Control V to paste it. So now I'm going to log in. Now it says product key. At this stage of the game, I'll go down to the right of the screen and left mouse click here to display the desktop. I'm going to go into the TecX Excellence Maintenance folder. Left click the Windows 7 COA. Again, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to Control C. I'm going to go back to registration. And while I'm here now, I'm going to press the word product key. All right, down here, you want to make sure it says manually enter information. That's usually normally checked, but it's a good idea to double check. Left click here, Control V, next. Okay, this area gets often confuses people for some reason. All we're going to do on this page, this is actually a continuation of the same page, it just opens up the page lower. This stays English. This we click to TecX Excellence, and we're going to go back to the Windows 7 and the old COA key, which is the one we got from the back of the computer. Control C. We're going to go back here, and we are going to Control V, and we're going to hit Add. See where it says status is okay? We're going to hit Submit. Now this is very important. See this product key right here? Right here. Control C. We're going to go back to the form. Remember where we put the word product key? Well, under here, we are going to Control V, and that is how we're going to activate the computer. And how we're going to do that is that's already in a controlled save situation. So I can now back out of this. I can right click the computer, go into properties, change product key. I'm left clicking that. I'm going to make sure the mouse is resting in this area. I'm going to hit Control V. There's the product code that we got. We're going to hit Next. We're going to take a look at what Avast is doing. Okay, it's still Avast takes a little while. In the meantime, we're going to take a look at the product key. This may take a few minutes. Now, if Avast comes up and says, "Hey, we got to restart your computer," you're not going to restart it until after Windows is activated. So you just say restart later, and it probably will happen this time. So you may be able to see it. Now here it says Avast needs to restart your computer. You hit no. We're going to let this guy continue because they both require a restart. How beautiful is that? Aha! And here we are. The Windows has now activated and is now considered genuine. We need to restart the computer. Before we do, I'm going to make sure that the window registration, we logged in, we did the product key. When we come back, we did all these things. We click Add, we click Submit, and so on. When we come back, we clicked on the computer, the bottom of the screen to activate. When we come back, we're going to perform a Windows update. I'm saving it. So we're going to restart. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to take this ticket and you're going to paste it on the bottom of the computer after it's been activated. Okay, so now you're looking at the bottom of the computer. Here is the COA that you just used. I'm going to peel this off. Now on the computer, here's the old COA. We're going to put the new COA right here. Okay. Okay, we're going back to the checklist. We're going to go and activate the product key for the Office product. Okay, now we're in the area to activate the Office key. It says Office 2013 installation and activation, and that's actually where this comes in. If you notice, we already put this number in on a file. That's really for the kids afterwards if they have a problem that they can refer to the product key, because they're not going to get this. This stays with us. So we're going to be keying this number in, but at first I'm going to click that and it says go to office.com. Left click it. I'm going to allow it to happen. And remember, across the bottom I can get to the wherever I want to get by clicking the actual tabs. Okay, here it's telling me to put in the product key, and I'm going to start doing that right now. Now over here it says get started. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to click and say get started. Now it's asking for a account number and password. We go back to the checklist. We did enter the 25 digits. Now we're going to go and put in the login. They're calling it Microsoft account. Go back to the checklist for the password. All we're doing was we're Control C and Control V. I like to just keep me signed in just for the heck of it, and I sign in. Now here we're going to change the country to our country because there's nothing actually listed. It says United States. The language is going to be English, and we're going to hit continue. It's now setting up. We're going to hit install. We're going to save it. And then we're going to open the folder. And we're going to double click it and say run. It automatically saves it to the download folder. Here we're going to say, do you want to allow the following program to make changes? You say yeah. I'm going to minimize this rather than to X out of it, because shortly down the checklist it's going to ask you to delete everything in the download folder. It's starting to set up the account. If there's any problems, you may have to key it in by phone, and that's always a fun process. I'm waiting for this little next button to be able to be checked, so it's doing its thing. And it's ready. I click next. I hit accept. That was the next button that came up. Now it starts to really install.
To your computer, but now it's also connected to the
and
cloud.
if you don't want to listen to it, you just click this middle button.
You're signed in. Your themes.
Okay, now we're at a point. It says sign in and get the most out of Office. Here you're going to say no thanks. I don't want to sign in. Meet the Sky Drive. Next. We're getting things ready. Take a look. I don't want to take a look. I just want to get it installed. Okay, now we wait until it's installed. Okay, now it says you're good to go. We're all done, and you can now go offline if you need to. Enjoy. So and then you hit all done. Okay, now what you want to do is open one of the programs. No matter what it is. In this case, I'll open up MS Excel. I'm left clicking the folder, or the icon I should say. I'm letting it start up. I'm left clicking the first item. It says first things first, you must accept. So you hit accept. We're going to go to File, Account, and we want to make sure up here what it says. This case, happily, it says Product Activated, Microsoft Office Professional 2013. So we're done that activation. So, well done. And do you remember we changed the name to TEK capital X 7314. Well, what you need to do is on the card that you get before you file it, you need to write the computer name, again the TEK capital X 7314 on the card, and then we file it. Now what you do is you go and you finish off the checklist. Now remember we had that one folder open and it says make sure that the download folder is empty. Well, that's actually where the Microsoft application went. So I'm going to right click it and just hit delete. And anything else that's in there you may want to delete. Okay, so that's free and clear. So we did that on the checklist. One of the things you have to make sure is okay is that the battery is 100% charged or close to it as possible. You can locate the battery icon meter here. You just roll your mouse over it, and it's saying that it's 28% available plugged in and it's charging. You need to make that 100% or as close to that as possible. I'm not going to get into how to bell arc because it is in other videos and it's something we do on a daily basis for the most part. In addition to, if you're doing this process, you're at an intermediate level anyway. So, some other areas of interest would be you want to bell arc the process. We have a special USB for that. So then make sure that goes on the proper USB. Delete recent items. You're going to go into Start menu, Recent items, and there's a whole list here. So I'm going to right click and delete. Right click, delete until it's empty. Okay, something else you want to do. Okay, we deleted that. We make sure that you put the power cord you're using for this unit is turned in with the computer. Some of the other areas you want to put the date you did this computer, your initials, and this is 211th computer, and the date you completed it, which happens to be the same day. And then you save. I don't know if you noticed, but after the process, the screen color has changed to blue. But if your computer has not at the end of the process, you want to right click it, go into Personalize. In here you're going to see Windows Classic, and then you would just simply click that. I'm not going to go into how to save the checklist because it's in other videos, and this is what we do on a daily basis. When you are completed the process, you want to delete the TEK, in this case, the TEK capital X 7314 PDF from your computer. Right click that and then you simply hit delete. You want to make sure that the recycle bin is emptied when everything is done.